Do you feel like you're just people pleasing all the time and you're done with it because actually the person that you're pleasing the least is you? Well, in today's video, we are going to talk about the impact of you people pleasing and how you can stop. I'm Su Patel and I am all about helping people create more abundance and more joy so that they can be, do and have more in their lives. All right. Now, if you want to connect with me, please do connect to my Instagram, the Su Patel. The link is just here, and where I'll be sharing a few more hints, tips, and tricks around self-worth and abundance and what you can do to just manifest and be, do, and have more in your life. Let's talk about people pleasing today. Now, for as long as I've known, I've always been about, taking care of other people, doing everything to make sure other people are in a good way. All right. Now, I've always felt like, I've got to take care of my mom. I've got to take care of my daughter. I've got to take care of my friends. I've got to take care of my family. Like I'm doing things all the time to take care of everybody else. All right. What happens is that, number one, I get exhausted and tired because I'm kind of thinking like, am I doing enough? Am I being enough? And, is it good enough? All right. And the other thing around that is that I kind of feel like, how come I'm the only one doing everything and nobody else is doing anything in return for me? All right. So a couple of things that I want to say about that is that people pleasing is never about the other person. People pleasing is all about you and your need for approval. All right. Now there's a difference, like the things that you're doing for other people, like you're doing things for other people so that you can get approval, you could get recognition, and maybe they'll acknowledge you for what you do. But guess what? Haven't you noticed that never happens? Like people just don't see like what you do. And it's not that they're being bad or ungrateful, or it's because they don't get that you're people pleasing. Now, the way to really help others is to contribute unconditionally. Like when you're really contributing unconditionally, you're helping them without wanting something in return. And that's very different. And we'll talk about that in a second. But going back to people pleasing, like you're people pleasing others because you have a need to be needed. You have a need for approval. You have a need for acknowledgement and external recognition from others, that they say, oh, aren't you wonderful? Aren't you so helpful? Aren't you, and you vibe off that. But they're real negative vibes. All right. Because what will happen is if you continuously keep doing that, you end up building up resentment towards all of these people in your life. You'll be like, how come they're not appreciating what I'm doing? How come they haven't said X, Y, Z? Or how come they don't do what I'm doing all this work, but they don't do the same for me? Of course they don't, because they don't have a people pleasing need. All right. You have that need. So you're building resentment up with all of these people, and, potentially you could lose your friendships. And it's impacting your relationship because they're not doing the things in return that you would do. If you really want to serve other people, all right, you want to contribute to them unconditionally, like without wanting anything in return. People pleasing is not going to get you any medals. It's not going to get you the recognition that you want. It's just going to exhaust you and tire you out. All right. So give up your need to be needed. Give up your need to help everyone else. You're actually not listening to people's greatness, that they can cope without you. Maybe deep down, you don't want them to cope without you because you want to feel that importance and that need to be needed, right? But everyone is capable of taking care of themselves. They don't need you. All right. Now, I don't mean that in a way where you're not needed or you're not important, but create, an adult relationship with people. When you're pleasing people, you're creating a parent-child type relationship. Like you have to take care of them. You don't. All right. And that's real attachment there on your part of wanting to do things for other people. All right. You don't have to do anything. So, but look at, what can you do that will really create a contribution for other people? That's very different. You can still give unconditionally, you can help them, you can serve them, but do it in a way where you're not expecting anything in return. Now, a couple of things that I want to say to you about how can you create this level of detachment and also a level of contribution without, an unconditional contribution. So what I want to say to you about that is, you've got to start asking yourself, okay, you might feel like you have to do these things for other people, otherwise X, Y, Z will happen. Now, the only person that's put that pressure on you is you. All right, so make a list of all the things that you feel you have to do for each of these people. It might be like, I have to cook for my kids. I have, who are like in their 20s. I have to cook for my husband, who's quite capable of cooking himself. All right, it's just you choose to do that because you feel that you have this need that he needs you. Okay, so make a list of all the things where you feel you have to do things. You have to do this for your mom. You have to do this for your children. You have to do this for your husband. You have to do this for your sister. Now, you don't have to do anything. Okay, but I want you to make a list of all those things that you feel you have to do. And then really look at, actually, is it really true that you have to do them? Or are you choosing to do those things? And then when you flip it to having to do something, to choosing, you will feel more empowered to do that thing rather than feeling you have to do it. Okay, when we're doing something out of choice, we're more empowered to do it, and we do it because we want to do it, not because we feel like we have to do it, or we need to do this thing to survive. All right, you don't. Okay, like really you don't. But I want you to make a list of all those things that you feel you have to do, and then really ask the question, do I have to do this, or am I choosing to do it? Okay, so that's a little bit of homework that I want you to take away. Going about having conversations with people and saying, listen, right? Like, you want to kind of do a little bit of a cleanup conversation with all these people. I've been doing this every single day because I felt like I have to do it. All right, but actually it's quite exhausting, and I just can't bring myself to continue like this. All right, and then discuss like what you're going to put in place instead. What are you going to create with that person newly about what you're going to do different? It's really important to set boundaries for yourself, because your self-care, your health, your energy also needs to be taken care of. All right, now you're probably thinking, oh, I don't need anything, I don't need this, I don't need, but you do. All right, and the only person that can give you that is you. It's not going to come from anybody else. That recognition, that acknowledgement, that approval doesn't come from anybody else. It's got to come from you first. All right. So start creating, like, what are some of the routines? Like, instead of going out there and doing all these things you feel you have to do for other people, is start creating, what is it that you could choose to do for yourself that will have you feel, loved, connected to yourself, grounded, and, that self-approval. So I actually have a video here of self-care routines for you. If you click this link over here, you'll be able to go into that and really start working on some of those routines that will help you. Yeah, I wanted to take on doing that homework. And I just really want to say about, unconditional contribution. When we're contributing to somebody unconditionally, you're really just serving selflessly. And when you're doing that, you're contributing to the world, you're contributing to those people, and actually you're doing it with a lot more ease and flow, and you're just doing it because there's no other reason, just because you're choosing to do that. All right, and that's where, when you do the work and you list all the things that you feel you have to do, and then you create, okay, no, I'm choosing to do this, that's when you're going to be unconditionally contributing to the people in your life. All right, I'm not saying for you to become selfish and to not do things for other people. Of course, we want to take care of the people around us. We want to make sure everyone's safe. We want to make sure everyone's empowered and feeling loved, but do it from a place of unconditional love and contribution. Take on that homework. I really hope you do. And it makes a difference to, your world and your life and the relationships that you're in. And if you really loved what I've shared with you today, please do obviously subscribe to my channel and like this video so that it can reach so many other people and help them as well. All right, so you'll be really you'll be contributing to so many other people by doing that as well. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.